Hey, I'm Barry from Sunken Mine Railroad. Welcome to my 8th video. And in this video, I'm going to start to attach the track, which I'm really excited about because I probably have 20 or 30 hours into this thing right now. And this is one of the last things that I'm going to do to sort of lock everything in before I start to really build the layout. So every video up until now has been really around preparation for mounting the track. And just to go over some things you're going to need. Highly recommend that you put gloves on. I know in a couple of videos I wasn't wearing gloves, but I'm trying to keep my hand oil off the track. And the other thing is, I mentioned in another video that I bought these pin insertion pliers from Micromark, which I really like these, as well as a couple other tools that are going to help. The other one I'm experimenting with is this Peter Post tool. Got this from Z-Skill Hobo, and again, I'm not being paid by any of these sponsors. I just am mentioning some folks who've been pretty helpful. I also have a feeler gauge here. The Märklin nails or pins are supposed to have a 0.1 millimeter gap between the pin and the rail at the top, and that's this distance of this feeler gauge that I have. So this tool, what's great is that you can set the distance of the pin insertion with this little Allen key collar, so it'll only push the pins in so far. So I'm looking forward to trying that out. And then the other thing is, I noticed that some of this rail doesn't have holes for the pins. These uncouplers don't have holes, and none of the switches or turnouts have holes. And you can see this section here is kind of a cluster of turnouts. So I'm concerned that like a significant portion of this isn't going to be pinned down. So what I did was I got this this pin vise drill, and I got some tiny pin vise drills right here. I get these down the street from Harbor Freight, and they're not expensive. The whole pack was $8, and I get a lot of them. They do break easy, but what you can do with this tool is you can drill some extra holes in the rails, in the ties, so you can apply pins where maybe they didn't have them originally. It'll help hold the track down. I've already put the track in position that I wanted in. I spent a lot of time making sure that it's really, really straight, and doing that, really this should be fairly easy. We're pull the pin out and start to tack it in. The other thing to keep in mind is now that I've attached everything, you're gonna want to go around and look at all of the rail and make sure that you inserted it properly. If you take the Märklin track and you don't snap it properly, those little tabs can actually overlap a little bit and leaving a tiny gap. And even a 0.5 millimeter or 0.2 of a millimeter difference in track height is going to make the train sort of wobbly as it goes around the layout. So I'm really focused on making sure I don't have any tracks that are not snapped together. So again, the first thing that I'm going to do is make sure that there isn't any track that's sticking up. And it has to feel very smooth as I'm going around. That looks right there, looks like it needs to be fixed. Oh, there's another one right there. So I've got two areas on this track I need to fix before I continue. One is right here, where I can feel it sticking up, and the other one is right here. So I'm going to fix these two, and I will be right back. I managed to attach the two rails that were out of alignment. So I've gone through and I've checked all of the rails are tight, and they're all in the position that I want them to be in. Okay, here are the two different tools I'm going to use. I'm going to use the Micromark pin insertion plier, which is this one, and I'm going to try the Peter post tool, which is designed for Z-scale. So first we'll use the pin insertion plier, and this plier I've been using it to put the ball end pins in to the track. It's been pretty helpful. So here's the pin in the tool. And it's pretty easy because I've already established the pilot hole. You don't want to press it in really deep because it'll push the ties into the layout. And then here's the other tool. This tool has a built-in magnet, so you can just pick up the pin and put in like that, and then it's already in the tool. And the tool has a really neat feature where you can set sort of the lash of how deep you want the pin to go in, so it automatically will establish the depth of the pin, which in this case will keep me from putting it in too deeply. So this tool actually was a lot easier to use. So I'm going to go through and do a few of these, and then I'm going to do the entire layout. Again, just to show you how this works too, if you needed to drill a hole in the track where there isn't one right now, for example, if I wanted to drill, let's say I wanted to put a hole right here. Figure out where you can see what I'm doing right here. Let's say I wanted to put a hole right here. Take this pin vise and then get it in the center of the tie, and then just rotate it. And then now you have a hole there, and you can put insert a pin at that point right there. There, now it's tight. So I'm going to go do the whole layout. Okay, so I'm going to do the main line first because I want that loop established before I start to go on the inside of the track. Just going through and making sure I've got all the holes filled. Okay, so now the straight sections are done. I'm going to do the curved parts, and then I'll start to work on the inside pieces. So this looks really good. So I'm going to move the pins from these. Now the Märklin Toporama has little black lines that you can use to center the track, and I'm trying to keep those as centered as possible. So I'm going to start from here and work my way this way and that way. I've checked everything is nice and flat so the trains won't jump around much when they're going around the track. One thing I noticed about this tool is it's very magnetic. So let me do the other side, and then the whole main line will be in, and I'll start to work on the sidings. At this point, I've got the entire main line in, and it's in pretty good shape, and I'm going to work on the sidings and get those installed as well. So now I'm going to turn it around and start to the other side. So I'm all done laying the rail now. I'm going to check for any missing holes that require pins. And there's the furnace. Alright, so I've got all the pins in. I'm going to double check to make sure there aren't any missing holes where I would need pins. And it's exciting because next time I'm going to put the bumpers on and run some trains and have some fun with it. And after that, I'm going to start working on the electronics. So have a great weekend and hope to see you soon.